We are starting with the next chapter, that is water efficiency. If we recap from the beginning, first chapter is about introduction to lead AP O&M. Second chapter is about alternative transportation and location and transportation. Chapter 3 is about sustainable sites. Now we are in chapter 4 about water efficiency. In this chapter, we'll be discussing about outdoor water use reduction, indoor water use reduction, building level water metering, cooling tower water use, and water metering. So, if you look at it, the maximum number of points achievable under this credit category is 12 points. And we have 2 prerequisites and 4 credits. Prerequisites: indoor water use reduction, building level water metering. Whereas coming to credit, again, indoor water use reduction and outdoor water use reduction. Outdoor water use reduction, it is 2 points. Indoor water use reduction, it is 5 points. Except data center, that is 4 points. Cooling tower water use, again 3 points. Water metering, it is 2 points. Indoor water use reduction. To reduce indoor water consumption, basically, the objective is all about responsible parties, again, owner, facility manager, and the property manager. One thing, what if you realize from even under previous credits or prerequisites, it's basically the major responsibility always lies with the owner and then the facility manager. And the third comes the property manager. And rest of the other stakeholders comes based on that particular credit. Or in general, if you look at it, these are the 3 main people who are involved. So coming to the first prerequisite, indoor water use reduction, which is the mandatory requirement. Under this, option 1, calculated water use. When we look at the establishment period, for the indoor plumbing fixtures and fittings, listed under table 1, we'll see what is that. Reduce water consumption 2 or below, lead V4 EBOM. EBOM means existing building, operation and maintenance. Baseline, calculated assuming 100% of the building's indoor plumbing fixtures and fittings meet the flush and flow rates. One tricky part what we need to understand is that when the question is all about prerequisite, the answer is that all the plumbing fixtures and fittings must meet the flow rates in simple terms. This is the hint. The lead V4 for water use, existing building operation and maintenance baseline is set depending on the year of building's occupancy. This is also important because there is a division of the year 1995. How it is different, we'll see here. For the buildings with the certificate of occupancy dated 1995 or later, that is, the buildings are constructed and the certificate of occupancy is issued after 1995. Then the baseline is 120% of the water use that would result if all fixtures meet the code requirements. We'll see what is that. But for the buildings with the certificate of occupancy dated before 1995, the baseline is 150%. This you need to be clear. You'll get a question on this point. So what is that calculation? We are talking about table 1. What is this table 1? Fixture and fittings, toilets, the baseline is 1.6 gallons per flush or 6 liters per flush in SI units. Urinal 1 gallon per flush, 3.8 liters per flush. Public lavatory 0.5 GPM at 60 pascals. Baseline is 1.9 liter per minute. Private lavatory facade 2.2 gallons per minute or 8.3 liters per minute. Kitchen faucet 2.2 gallons per minute or 8.3 liters per minute. Shower head is again 2.5 gallons per minute and 9.5 liters per minute.
how do we calculate up till that much level? This is standards, which is very based on very each and every fittings. So this is
Correct.
based like means how do I know that my faucet or my like the flush tank is very old? How do I know how much it's flushing per flush, per gallon per flush or liter per flush? How
So
to
there
measure?
are some equipments that are used, because if you say that water fixture for a tap
Yeah.
or a facade, okay, there are some measuring bags, okay, where they will calculate per minute. They'll check how many liters of water has been flushed out or flow is there basically.
Mhm.
So basically, these
Okay.
measurement bags will help you.
That's easy, but uh, that faucet shower head, that's difficult.
No, they will experiment this and they'll design the equipments according to it.
Mhm.
So when you go to rack or when you go to what do you call this, Grohe and
Mhm.
other brands, what
Yeah.
happens when you ask for this aerators?
Mhm.
They will ask what is the flow rate you are looking at.
Okay.
Generally, here what is that we are looking at? Uh, say facade, public lavatory facade or private lavatory facade, right? Say private lavatory facade, you are talking about 2.2 gallons or 8.3 liters per minute, right? But
Mhm.
generally, the normal facade is almost like 15 to 18 liters per minute is the
Oh,
flush out that is happening. Yeah. A normal thing that is available in the market.
almost double of it.
Yes. Some um, private facade is all like about 20 liters as well.
So, sir, for example, if we are applying for O&M and we have to give that, what do you say, the evidence, we
Yes.
we are using as per this SI units. So
Mm.
we can get some certificates or some specs from the supplier that this is manufactured like Grohi, and if that is,
Yes. Yes, we can get it done.
we can get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fixtures, they are made of it. And even not only fixtures, but even when we say once we test it, we can record the testing and we can send it with the proof.
SI units, I know. What is that IP units?
That is that is calculating gallons per flush instead of liters, right?
Yeah.
Even our petrol and oil, gas, everything, I mean oil, that is taken in gallons, no British units.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That is imperial system of IP means
Imperial,
imperial measurement system. Mm.
imperial measurements.
Okay. Now, coming to option one, again, if indoor plumbing systems were renovated after initial occupancy of the building, if the indoor plumbing systems were renovated after initial occupancy of the building, set a whole building average baseline by prorating the above limits based on the proportion of plumbing fixtures installed during the plumbing renovations in each period. Where pre-1995 buildings that have had only minor fixture retrofits but no plumbing renovations in or after 1995 may use 150% baseline for the whole building. This is again what we have seen before, right? Calculate fixture and fitting performance to compare the water use of as installed fixture and fittings with the use of UPC, that is Uniform Plumbing Code, or IPC, that is International Plumbing Code, compliant fixtures and fittings.
Again, one question which is relevant related to the previous one is I would like to apply this lead OM for my own company, office and building. So how do I measure that each fixtures and fittings are consuming how much? How do I measure this if I want to? So
That's
this
what
is
you need to test each and everything once.
so
Because it is an existing building, it
yeah.
could be of different brands, it could be of different models,
Yes.
right? Not uniform. So you need to take those equipment, basically those measuring toolkits, and
Mm.
then you need to measure. This is
So,
what we did actually in our
ah,
project.
okay. What these tools are called basically?
No, basically means you'll have those plastic bags and all this with measurements, everything. So
Ah,
when you switch on and when you just take the measurement per minute basis, basically you'll come to know how much of water is being, water flow is there in
okay.
1 minute.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Inspect all existing fixtures and fittings to ensure they are operating properly. See the point. Inspect all existing fixture and fittings to ensure they are operating properly. Make any repairs needed to bring all fixtures into good working order or permanently turn off water supply to non-functional units. The other biggest problem is if there are any leaks that are happening or if the systems are not maintained properly, that is where huge consumption of water happens. That's where your meter readings will go high. Implement a fixture and fitting replacement and retrofit policy specifying that all newly installed toilets, urinals, private lavatory facades, and shower heads that are eligible for labeling be WaterSense labeled. WaterSense labeled are those fixtures that are meeting the requirement or local equivalent for projects outside the US. Now, when you're calculating for retail, hospitality, and schools, what is that standard? This is table 2. Table 1, we have seen the fixtures with the measurements. Now, table 2 is all about the appliances part of it. So, use residential clothes washer, which is Energy Star rated, commercial cloth washer, CEE, Tier 3A, these are standards again. Residential dishwasher standard or compact, that is Energy Star or performance equivalent. Pre-rinse spray valve less than or equivalent to 1.3 gallons per minute. Ice machine, again, this is Energy Star or performance equivalent.
Energy Star is only Energy Star. Is it cover water efficiency or only the energy efficiency?
It covers both, everything.
Because now my personal experience, I just took a new Samsung 10.5 kg washing machine yesterday, and it
Yeah.
consumes more water than my previous. Although it's a 5-star machine, but it consumes more water than my previous non-star rated washing machine.
No, it will not. How could you say that?
So because it's a top loaded, and it's taking
Okay.
three buckets of water in one wash.
And there will be one option like water saving bubble, echo bubble or something.
Some turbo eco is there.
Yeah. So why this option is kept? Like if you some kind of medical kids clothes will be there, right?
Yeah.
See, when they are manufacturing universally, right? So
Yes. Yes.
they leave out with both the options. If you don't want to use more water, then you can switch on that echo bubble button.
Mhm.
It will take less water. Just try that option.
Okay, but I think they told that if you use that, it will consume the same water for another wash.
Is it
Uh,
semi? Is it semi or fully automated?
It's fully automatic.
that we need to see actually.
Maybe it is not complying with the Energy Star requirement of the water. It is only complying to the electrical part of it.
Yeah, maybe that's my question actually.
That we need to see the specification. They'll be
I
mentioning how much of water.
I will share through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Then
Now
you
coming to performance part of it, till now what we have seen is establishment. So for buildings water use, confirm that calculations are up to date. Demonstrate that all applicable purchases made during the performance period meet the requirements of the fixture and fitting replacement and retrofit policy. Means whatever policy you have made during the establishment period, during the performance period, you need to ensure that the policy is being followed. For appliances, demonstrate that appliances purchased and installed within the building meet the requirements listed in table 2, which we have seen in the previous slide. Appliances not listed are not subjected to any additional requirements. This is very clear. Whatever the appliances that are mentioned in table 2 are the only ones which we need to consider. Rest of the things doesn't have any limitations or considerations. Now option 2, metered water use. When we say metered water use, meter fixtures and fittings and record metered data for 1 year to establish a water use baseline. How will you set your water baseline? Means for the first 1 year, you need to take the meter reading accordingly, based on which you can set the baseline. For projects with at least 80% of fixtures and fittings metered, show that the water use baseline has been maintained. For projects with at least 80% of fixtures and fittings that are metered, shows that the water use baseline has been maintained. Now coming to building level water metering. To support water management and identify opportunities for additional water savings by tracking water consumption. So prerequisite, establishment have permanently installed water meters that measure the total potable water use for the building and associated grounds. Metering of any grey or reclaimed water supplied to the building is encouraged but not required. You will get a question here. Metering of any grey or reclaimed water supplied to the building is encouraged. It is supported, but it is not mandatory. That is establishment. Coming to performance, record meter data on a monthly basis and compile meter readings can be manual or automated. Commit to sharing with USGBC the resulting whole project water usage data for a 5-year period beginning on the date the project accepts LEED certification. There is one of my student who asked this question. Okay, sir, we will get the LEED certificate. After that, I will not submit the data. What next? When you commit something to an reputed organizations like this, you need to withstand to your commitments, right? This commitment must carry forward for 5 years or until the building changes ownership or lessee. Now, coming to credits, outdoor water use reduction, 2 points. To reduce outdoor water consumption, owner's representative, facility manager, building engineer, and vendors. Requirements reduce outdoor water use through one of the non-vegetated surfaces. How will you reduce? Through one of the non-vegetated. How will you say non-vegetated? That is permeable or impermeable pavement, which should be excluded from landscape area calculations. What are those? Athletic fields, playgrounds, food gardens may be included or excluded at the project team's discretion, and if landscape irrigation is not submitted, use option 2. So there are 3 options here. We can see option 1, no irrigation required. Option 2, no irrigation meter is installed, but calculated water budget. And option 3 is irrigation meter, which is installed. So option 1, when no irrigation is required, show that the landscape does not require irrigation beyond a maximum of 2-year planned established period. Means once you do the irrigation, after 2 years of time, you don't require any irrigation for that landscaping. Now coming to option 2, no irrigation meter installed. Calculated water budget, that is use the existing landscape to calculate the landscape water requirements using the EPA WaterSense water budget tool, that is install an irrigation meter. Whereas option 3, irrigation meter installed, the baseline is established using the annual average of at least 3 years of consecutive data out of the last 5 years. This is option 3. Now coming to the performance for all the three, in option 1, you do not have any performance. Option 2, points are earned according to table 1. What is table 1? We'll see. Option 3 is about demonstrated reduction in outdoor water use over the most recent 12 months compared with the establishment baseline where points are earned. Where points, table 1 is about up to 30% reduction, you'll get 1 point, and 40% reduction, you'll get 2 points. Indoor water use reduction, you'll get 5 points. Objective is to reduce indoor water consumption. Option 1, calculate water use. There is no establishment. Coming to performance, have fixtures that use less water than the baseline calculated in prerequisite indoor water use reduction, where points are awarded according to, again, table 1, where it says 10% reduction, you'll get 1 point, 15% to 23, 25, 4, and 30. Up to 30%, you get about 5 points. Confirm that calculations are up to date and demonstrate that all purchases made since the end of the performance period meet the design performance requirements. Means if there are any changes in the fixtures, obviously you need to ensure that it is meeting the design performance requirement. Option 2, metered water use. Meter fixtures and fittings and record meter data for 1 year to establish a water use baseline. Whereas coming to performance, for projects with at least 80% of the fixtures and fittings metered, show a reduction from the base year of meter reading. Means from the baseline, you need to show the reduction in consumption. But it has to be 80% of the fittings and fixtures must be metered. Table 2, which shows less than 5%, it is 1 point, 5%, 2 points, 10%, 3 points, 15%, 4 points, and 20%, it is 5 points. Cooling tower water use, you need to have 3 points. Objective to conserve water use for cooling tower, make up while controlling microbes, corrosion, and scale in condenser water system. Again, responsible parties, owner, facility manager, and property manager. For cooling towers and evaporative condensers, conduct a potable water analysis within 5 years of submission for certification, measuring at least 5 control parameters. What are the 5 control parameters? Calcium, that is calcium carbonate, CaCO3, total alkalinity. Again, this is 1000 ppm. Silicon dioxide, SiO2 or sand, that is 100 ppm. Chlorine, Cl, 250 ppm. Conductivity, 2000 micro Siemens per centimeter, micro S per centimeter. That is, these are the parameters that needs to be controlled in a water that is used in the cooling tower. So calculate the number of cooling tower water cycles by dividing the maximum allowed concentration level of each parameter by the actual concentration level of each parameter found in the potable makeup water. What does this mean? You have a standard, that is, these are the maximum levels, right? Again, you will take the actual water and you will check the parameters of check the levels of each of these parameters. Then when you check the level, you will compare with the standard. When you divide it, that is how you can know how many number of cycles the water can be used. What is this number of cycles? When you say the repeated usage of this water again and again. If it goes through the complete system once, it is called 1 cycle. If it keeps on repeating second time, then it is 2 cycles. So what are the conditions here? Maximum number of cycles achieved without exceeding any filtration levels or affecting operation of condenser water system, that is up to max of 10 cycles, that is 2 points. Then what is the other condition here? Achieve a minimum of 10 cycles by increasing the level of treatment in condenser or makeup water, or meet the minimum number of cycles to earn 1 point and use a minimum 20% recycled non-potable water, that is again 3 points. Water metering, it is 2 points. To support water management and identify opportunities for additional water savings by tracking water consumption. Again, owner, facility manager, property manager, and groundkeeping. Here, Under this water metering, what is that we need to do? Coming to establishment period, 1 point for 2 water subsystems and 2 points for 4 or more water subsystems. That is, when you provide meters for more than 4 subsystems, 4 or more, then you get 2 points. Irrigation, one of the subsystems, meter water system serving at least 80% of the irrigated landscape area, and calculate the percentage of irrigated landscape area as the total metered irrigated landscape area divided by the total irrigated landscape area. Means it is not mandatory that the complete landscape area has to be metered, but whatever the metered area of that landscape has to be divided by the total irrigated area. Okay. Landscape area fully covered with the xeriscaping or native vegetation that requires no routine irrigation may be excluded from the calculation. And if there is any irrigation that doesn't require any vegetation, where there is no irrigation that is required, then we can deduct that from the calculation. That is the second point. Then coming to indoor plumbing fixtures and fittings. Meter water system serving at least 80% of the indoor plumbing fixtures and fittings listed in prerequisite indoor water use reduction, either directly or by deducting all other measured water use from the measured total water consumption of the building and grounds. This is again 80% of the indoor plumbing fittings and fixtures. Now cooling towers, meter replacement water use of all cooling towers serving the facility. This is the third system. Coming to fourth system, domestic hot water, meter water use of at least 80% of the installed domestic hot water heating capacity, including tanks and on-demand water heaters. Fifth one, reclaimed water, meter reclaimed water regardless of rate. A reclaimed water system is a makeup water connection must also be metered so that the true reclaimed water component can be determined. What is this reclaimed water? It's a makeup water. Other processed water, sixth one, meter at least 80% of expected daily water consumption for process, that is humidifiers, dishwashers, cloth washers, pools, and all these things. This is called a processed water. Then the last one, again, same thing, sorry. Residential unit metering, this is for multi-family only. Meter at least 50% of the residential units in the building, provide consumption and cost data to individual residents. But now here we can see we have 100%. Every unit has got its own separate metering. Residential unit metering. Meter 100% of the residential units in the building, provide consumption and cost data to individual residents. You have two options here. Now coming to performance, all meters including whole building meters, meter must be recorded at least weekly and is used on a regular basis of time trends. Meters must be calibrated with the manufacturer's recommended interval. Means MSDS, as per the manufacturer's requirement, we need to calibrate this. And if the building owner, management organization or tenant owns the meter, meters owned by the third party are exempted. That is Deva meter, Seva or
So
Deva
for
meters.
example, I have the sub meters. I put the sub water meters in the line to
Yeah.
just try to calculate how much I am consuming in different areas. So
Correct.
that is like the circular one meters. So
Yes.
that meters also need to be calibrated after a certain time. If yes, then how, after how long?
That is what, as per the manufacturer's recommended interval. Second line, if you see, meters must be calibrated within the manufacturer's recommended interval.
Okay.
So based on the brand and the meter, MSDS, they will recommend every 3 years, every 5 years generally.
3 to 5 years. Okay.
That is general, okay, as this thing I said. But again, it all depends upon the manufacturer. Commit to sharing with USGBC the resulting water usage data for a 5-year period, beginning on the date the project accepts LEED certification. With this, we are done.